19th century crematoriums versus ancient iron melting plants. Welcome. Ever since the Acropolis article, I knew that there was no way to avoid this cremation-related one. I think there were some ancient industrial structures and designs were presented to us as temples, mosques, and churches. I just caught myself calling a pre-1600 building ancient. That's because I stopped thinking in terms of thousands of years ago. I really struggle to see any substantiation of anything that old. It appears that everything remotely referenceable starts in the 1600s. Crematoriums. This is not the most pleasant topic to cover, but I do want to get it out of the way. Cremation is a method of final disposal of a dead body through burning. Cremation leaves behind an average 2.4 kilos of remains known as ashes or cremains. This is not actual ash, but unburnt fragments of bone material which are commonly ground down into a powder. While a crematorium can be any place containing a cremator furnace, modern crematoria are designed to serve a number of purposes, as well as being a place for the practical but dignified disposal of dead bodies. They must also serve the emotional and spiritual needs for the mourners. Per the narrative, prior to the Industrial Revolution, cremation only took place on an outdoor open pyre. The organized movement to instate cremation as a viable method for body disposal began in the 1870s. I'm not going to bother you with all the blah blah blah, you can read yourself, but here's what I find really strange: the timing. Sorry, there's no image with that. So the timing: Italy 1876 it opened, United States 1876, Germany 1878, United Kingdom 1885, Sweden 1887, Zurich 1889, and France 1889. Tell me that this cremation need shared by so many countries is not weird. The organized movement to instate cremation as a viable method of body disposal began in the 1870s. In 1869, an idea was presented to the Medical Industrial International Congress of Florence by Professors Colletti and Cascellini in the name of public health and civilization. In 1873, Professor Paolo Guarani and Lodi, a professor Lodovico Burnett of Pisa, published reports that of practical work that they had conducted. A model of Burnett's cremating apparatus together with resulting ashes were exhibited at the Vienna Exposition in 1873 and attracted great attention. What exactly is happening in the world in the 1870s and the 1880s to justify synchronicity? And what are they showing at these world fairs? Like, they're showing how to make movie apparatuses, like that goes back to 1850s. The fax machine goes back to 1860. Wireless goes back to 1860, 1870. The first car was sort of around 1880. Meanwhile, Sir Charles William Siemens had developed his regenerative furnace in the 1850s. His furnace operated at a high temperature by using regenerative preheating of fuel and air for combustion. In regenerative preheating, the exhaust gases from the furnace are pumped into the chamber containing bricks, where heat is transferred from the gases to the bricks. The flow of the furnace is then reversed so that the fuel and the air pass through the chamber and are heated by the bricks. Though this method, an open hearth furnace, can reach temperatures high enough to melt steel, and this process made cremation an efficient and practical proposal, I found this remark important enough to overlook. Now we can go into the actual cremation buildings and building designs. To be honest, I would never have thought that any of these structures were cremation facilities. In the United States, there is already a great variety of styles of buildings put up for cremation purposes. Some of the best have been low structures of stone plainly trimmed with material of different color, but some have been the most elaborate mosque-like form, with the tendency towards domes and minarets. 1900s. Number 1, 1877 design. I'll begin with the one that started me on this topic. As far as I understand, it was never built. It was the description that was provided as follows. This will be a grand temple of cremation where it is erected, proceeding to take place in the dim future, when or where not stated. On each side of the central chapel there is a circle memorial hall, and extending so as to enclose the garden of the establishment. On the sides of the halls are the wings containing a large number of niches from the reception of funeral urns. Come on, wow. At this time, the practice of incineration was not all common in France, and the newspapers explain. Let us remember in conclusion that the cremation oven established so as to suffice for the incarnation of its anonymous hospital debris, or about 4,000 bodies per year. It is located in the northeast part of the cemetery near the Muslim cemetery, and to satisfy the curiosity of its readers, the edition on October 22nd the same year specifies, built in refractory bricks, the crematorium takes the form of a sarcophagus. A double and powerful draught of air arranged over the hearth forces the flames to completely envelop the corpse, which is thus quickly charred, then reduced to an amount of ash varying from 5 to 10 kilograms. A cremation at the vase was erected in the 1880s, although a small one presents a handsome elevation. The chamber in which the cremation is performed is placed in the centre, just behind the room appropriate to the public, and which is approached through a roomy vestibule. A room has been provided where the relatives can be accommodated. At the sides of the temples are two columbaria for reception of the urns. It's in 1892. The Hamburg Crematorium opened in 1892, and up to the end of 1896 there had been about 200 cremations. That's all I was able to find. Why such a low number? I don't believe in cremation. I wouldn't want that done. Um, no. Well, since 1903, there has been a crematorium on the Maze Cemetery grounds, one of the first buildings of its kind in Germany, which was modernized in 1996 due to emission regulations. The new crematorium had to be put into operation at the Strasse entrance in 2010. The old one had to be shut down after 107 years. Reuse as a columbarium is planned. So that's the Mainz crematorium. This looks like the Sydney one where they got the train that drives in Rockville Cemetery. It looks so alike. Copeland was put in charge of the commission to build a permanent crematorium, a temporary one that was hastily erected and opened in December 1920, but its varying factors led to the opening operating for a few months. The primary reason it closed was practical. The crematorium oven required huge amounts of wood that simply wasn't available in frozen Petrograd. The ongoing civil war and general lack of supplies across the city further undermined justification for the crematorium's operation. So the first Petrograd crematorium is here. They look really old. In 1878, the first crematorium in Germany was taken into operation in the central cemetery. It consists of a column building some 50 meters tall, but in an elegant simplicity and neoclassical style. When the urn colonnade became too small, tastefully designed semicircle building called the columbarium was added to the middle section in 1892. A couple of graves in the front there. All the urns. The Gardner Earl Memorial Chapel and Crematorium, which is a Romanesque structure building built between 1887 and 1889 at Oakwood Cemetery in Troy, New York, United States. The building was financed by William S. Earl, a successful Troy manufacturer, as a memorial to his son who died after becoming ill on a trip to Europe in March 1887. The deceased Earl was an early promoter of cremation and was himself cremated in Buffalo. That's the Earl Crematorium he built for his son. Wow. I think I will stop at A. If you come across any 19th century cemeteries, please share. Yeah, someone says here ritual burnings. Yeah, that's why I feel like I don't think I'd want to do that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye now.